morning. I'm Michelle Rotan. I'm an account manager at Synergex, and I'll be your host for today's conference sessions. I'm joined by Rachel Gibson, our Director of Sales and Marketing, and also one of our speakers today. We're very excited to welcome you to the 2024 Synergy DevPartner Conference. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a lot of great information to share with you this week. Let's get started with our first presentation, Synergex Today. This session has two speakers. Bill isn't able to join us live today. He'll explain that during his presentation, but I'd still like to introduce him. Bill is Synergex's president and CEO. He's been with the company for almost 39 years, starting out in sales. His dedication to helping our customers be successful is a primary reason why your Synergy applications continue to thrive and why they'll still be performing well into the future. Rachel joined Synergex 6 years ago as an account manager. She quickly moved up and is now Director of Sales and Marketing. She focuses on helping customers modernize their software solutions. She led the website redesign last year and has also driven several case studies, all aimed at showing who we are and how we help our customers improve their solutions. Rachel also works with our internal teams to advance our product and service offerings.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our third virtual developer conference. We're looking forward to seeing everyone in person next year. Rachel will be talking about that at the end of this presentation. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bill Mooney. I am President and CEO of Synergex. I've been with the company almost 39 years. I'll talk about that in a moment. My main focus on this presentation is going to be talking about what it's been like being acquired by Constellation. I've received numerous questions from customers over the last year asking what it's been like, so I'm going to spend some time talking about that. And I'm going to give an update on our senior leadership team, and I'm going to talk about OKRs. Before we get started, I mentioned that this is our virtual conference. I'm recording this on Wednesday, April 17th. April 17th is 2 days after Synergex just got done celebrating its 48th year in business. When you are watching this on May 13th, I will be 2 days away from me celebrating my 39th year with the company. So here we are virtually, and I'm doing this recording. And what you're looking at is where I'm going to be on the Grand Canyon during what I refer to as hopefully going to be a most excellent adventure. It'll be day number 12 of our Grand Canyon trip. And with that, hopefully we're going to be going through the rapids and things are going to be moving smoothly. I'll be on the river for 16 days. To give some background, back in 2020, we had a private permit for this trip, but with COVID, we weren't able to make that trip. They gave us the permit for 2 years later on the 22nd, but things didn't work out for the group. And we were lucky enough to get another permit for this year. So we will be launching on May 17th. I bring this up, this part of the river part, because it's really part of a theme that whenever we're on the river, and I like to say it's a theme that I've adopted with the company as well. When we're on the river, things happen. And I have a saying that I've said over the years, it's all part of the adventure. And to a large extent, I've adopted that with the company as well. And there's been numerous changes over my almost 39 years, 2 more days from when you're watching this. There's been numerous different changes over the years, and it's all part of the adventure. And the biggest change, one of the biggest changes, most recently, where a year ago we were acquired by Constellation. So I want to spend some time talking about that. And I do look forward to sharing the adventures of my trip when I talk to you all in person, hopefully sooner than next year. But with that, let's talk about what's happened since we were acquired. So it was just a little over a year ago. We were acquired on March 31st. So on April 3rd, the company learned that they were owned by a new company. And it's been a very interesting year. And I want to talk about really, why we sold, why now and why Constellation. The story with Constellation really begins back in 2014. So one of our customers, Ibcost, who is over in the UK, who has an application in the agriculture hire business, was acquired by Constellation. And at that point in time, I had dinner with the folks who acquired them as part of their due diligence. They met with me. And they were also interested in, hey, if there's any other synergy-based customers that would be interested in an exit strategy, they would be interested in them. And I wanted to take a kind of a wait and see what it looked like with them acquiring them. I didn't know anything all about Constellation at that time. But what I quickly learned is, for the most part, they left the company alone and left them to run as they saw fit. And that inspired me over the years when other customers were asking to be acquired or looking for an exit strategy. I would often refer them to Constellation. Since 2014, Constellation has acquired 8 customers, 7 other customers, so a total of 8. We make number 9. Now, not all of these companies I referred to them. There's a few of those up there that I did refer. Some of them they just acquired on their own. And what I have definitely learned was these companies were truly, for the most part, left alone and continue to run their business and continue to grow no differently than how we worked with these particular customers. And that was real important to me, especially with my objective that our customers' applications, your applications, are going to be running in the year 2100 and beyond. So with that, I became interested, and I said, you know what, whenever we are looking to sell, I think Constellation would be a good company for that. So I developed a relationship with them over the years. We had a lot of things to do before we were in a position to do that. And I really wasn't looking to do an exit strategy till probably sometime this year. But in my conversations with them, we had come to a point where I felt like, from our strategic objectives before, that we were in a good position. Some conversations started, and next thing you know, I said, okay, I think the timing is good. So we were acquired, as I said before, March 31st, 2023, and it's been an interesting ride since then. So if you look at Constellation as a company, they were founded in 1995. They're a publicly traded company in Toronto. After the acquisition, I sent out an email to everyone, and I referenced a video on the owner, the original founder, Mark Leonard. I highly encourage you to watch that video. That's going to give you a much more in-depth about Constellation's philosophy. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. But today, they're a $50 billion company out of Canada and continue to grow significantly. And I'm going to talk about their growth in the next slide. They're split into different operating groups. So Constellations were part of what's known as the Vela group. Underneath Vela, you have Fog. We're in the Fog group. And so they have all these different groups. Today, they own over 1,000 different software companies like ourselves. We're a little bit unique. Most of the companies they acquire are ISVs. So they're companies like most of you who are reselling outside of our corporate end users that are watching this. So they're primarily primarily looking for the companies that have an existing application that are reselling into the market. From a business side and how big they are and how they perform on the stock exchange, if you look at this slide, if you look at the lower number, that yellow color, that represents the S&P. Moving up, that gray, that's going to be NASDAQ, the index. The light blue represents really blue chip tech companies. That would be Google and Amazon and Apple, Meta, Microsoft type of companies. And then at the top is Constellations. So from a growth perspective, you can see that they're pretty significant and continuing to do really well. Now, if you look at that bump up here in the very last bump up there where you see it significantly rise, that's about at the time that they acquired Synergex. I'd like to think that that's part of our growth. I know it's not. We're part of it, though. They did some pretty big acquisitions since we were acquired, and that's where you're seeing that growth. So their philosophy, really, when you look at it, is the very top bubble up there is they like to acquire and own for life. And this was really important for me. I've seen other of our customers be acquired, only to be acquired by another company, only be acquired by another company. And next thing you know, the application as it existed no longer exists. Going back to the other 8 companies that I referenced earlier, those applications are running the exact same as they were since the acquisition. So they're able to go in there and give them the ability to grow and give them some capital. And that's one of the things that we're interested in, is we might have an opportunity for us to invest in some product ideas that we've thought about, but maybe the existing board didn't have the appetite in this point in time of our corporate business years that to make that investment. Those are great in the early days, whereas CSI or Constellation might give us that capital. They will give us that capital if we prove the ROI. So we're looking forward to putting some plans together for that. That top left bullet there, or big bubble, is they really do leave you alone. And that goes back to what I was talking about in those other 8 companies. So having the opportunity to be left alone and to let us run as a business autonomously, it was also very important to me. And we continue to focus on that. So that's kind of their philosophy. And for the most part, that's exactly what we've seen since being acquired. Now, one of the things that I do want to acknowledge is they did have some input on our pricing structure. And this was, pretty tough for a lot of you because we had some pretty significant price increases. If I look back at it, we probably didn't do the best job as a company in increasing our pricing year over year and putting in a structure for that. On the flip side, we were increasing, our costs were increasing significantly, whether it be our payroll costs, whether it be our operations costs, whether it be regulations. We have more and more, especially with cybersecurity, insurance costs. So our costs were going up significantly, yet we weren't increasing our pricing to match some of those inflation or other costs associated as we continue to invest inside the organization. So with that, we had a pretty significant, price increase. And I do want to acknowledge that was pretty tough for you and for us at communicating that, especially for Rachel. I know it was pretty tough over a few months. Hopefully you all understand this, and we are working as we go forward that there'll be more modest but regular price increases as we move forward. So we do appreciate you working with us on that. I think the tough side was last year. The benefit was you've been getting the benefit over the years where we weren't being as business minded as we could have. So that is probably one area where they did have some input to us. But beyond that, they have left us alone. We have the ability to still run our core business. We get to decide, how we're doing our development teams, what our product looks like, how we're going to be doing our roadmaps. We get to still maintain our culture. So they've really left us alone. And again, that was really, really important to me as I look to, succession in the company growing and beyond that. They provide us legal, HR, and finance. With this, there has been some challenges on that side. If you look at our company over our 48 years, there's been several times where we've changed our insurance plans, where we've changed our 401k, where we've changed payroll systems. But we would typically change one of those every 5 to 10 years, whatever it may be. And we would work through each one of those on a basically independent change. In this particular case, on April 3rd, in the entire company, we had a new health plan. We had a new 401k plan. We had a new payroll system, all happening on the same day. So that was a little bit of a challenge going through that integration. As I said to the team, things should settle down. It might take a year. And here we are a year later. And for the most part, things have settled down. Still some challenges that come in here and there, but we're getting through that. For the most part, the senior leadership team has taken on those challenges and some of the, I'll say, bureaucracy of working with a new company and just building that trust up. And as time goes on, we're building more and more trust, and they're leaving us even more and more alone. So we're moving forward with that. So speaking of the senior leadership team, one of the things that I've referenced in the past that's really, really important is that we continue to build succession. With the company being here 48 years, as I mentioned, I've been here 2 days from when you're watching this, 39 years. My goal is to get north of 40 years and beyond that. We need to bring in more and more people up into the senior leadership team. So prior to the acquisition, this is what our team looked like. Myself, Roseanne Brill up in the right, who's been kind of my right-hand person over the last several years. Jeff taking over from Roger's spot just a few years ago. By the way, Roger is still doing some work for us, some side projects on his quote-unquote retirement. He's enjoying more of life, but he's still doing a few little pet projects as we send him his way. You've got Don, who has headed up professional services for many years now, and he's been part of the team. And then Rachel took over mostly my sales and marketing role. I want to say probably 7 to 8 years. Well, she took over 3 years ago. I kind of let that go 7, 8 years ago, but she's been doing a great job on the sales and marketing side. And one of the big changes that we did last year was our website. With that, we've added, since the acquisition, this was back in the fall of last year, we've added Kelly Bigler, who's now director of consulting. And one of the reasons is our consulting business has significantly grown. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So we welcome Kelly to the team. And then Tim Bogus, who's our director of software development, who will be taking over for Roseanne when she retires down the road. So I want to take the opportunity to express my appreciation to this team. And I say this because I'm going to be on the river for almost 3 weeks. I'm going to be on the river 16 days, but the time traveling out there and traveling back is going to be, I'm going to be out of the office for 3 weeks. And for me to be able to leave and have the company continue to thrive and run is a testament to this team here and what they're doing. So I want to take an opportunity to express my appreciation to them. So with that, we're changing our way that we're doing our strategic planning. Prior to the acquisition, we had a 5-year strategic plan. The pillars of that plan were to show that we could do year-over-year growth, which we've been doing for several years, and we accomplished that. The other part of that plan was to completely revisit every one of our operations inside. How can we make improvements in our dev processes, in our finance processes, payroll processes? So we did some significant investment on those fronts, and then also to put succession planning in place. And the idea behind those pillars were to basically, if you look at it, to position the company to have an exit strategy for someone to acquire us. And I kind of equate it to, if someone's looking to acquire a house, if the house is in great condition, you're going to get more money for the house. And that's specifically what we were focused on. Since the acquisition, though, we want to move to a different way of doing our strategic planning, and we're adopting what's known as OKRs, basically objectives and key results. Many of you may know about this. We're adopting a process, and we've all read the book Measure What Matters by John Doerr. And this really comes from Intel. Intel was really kind of the genesis of OKRs and then transitions into Google. For those that are not familiar with it, I highly recommend reading this book. And really, the purpose is for us to get into strategic alignment, and then we can focus on execution and then engage our employees more. And I say more because I really feel fortunate that we really do have engaged employees, but we can always do better. And this is what we're focused on. So we've taken several months as a senior leadership team, and these are our high level objectives. And when you look at what your high level objectives are, these are things that you really want to, these are big sky visions, shoot for the stars. And so our objectives is to be the platform of choice for our customers. That means that we want to be the vendor, the language application. And I talk about vendor and application because we are getting into more managed services, and I'll talk about that in just a moment here. We want to drive architectural vision for our customers to improve their product outcomes, and then position Synergex for long-term value. This last bullet point really speaks to my objective goal for the company for your applications to be running in the year 2100 and beyond, and we want to continue to focus on that. As far as driving architectural vision for our customers and to be the platform of choice, what we've learned over the years, what I've witnessed, what has happened is the closer we work with our customers, the more opportunity you guys let us in, let us know what your objectives are, the better success that our customers have. And with your success, we have success. It goes back to synergy, which I'm going to wrap up my presentation with the word synergy. And the closer that we can work with you, we really truly believe we can help you achieve your objectives. Where we find customers go off and do things on their own, don't include us, they will achieve their objectives, but maybe not as effective as we can. And I'm not saying that we're, the panacea that we can solve all problems, but we do know that the closer we work with our customers, the better outcome. And that really speaks to some of the blogs that I've written that are on the website. I highly encourage you to read those. So from a high level objective perspective, we're not doing anything new. If I look at what this is all about is the name of our product, which is Synergy. So this goes back to when we renamed the product Synergy. This was back in 1995 time period. And so we renamed the company Synergex. Synergex is really the combination of synergy and apex, so working together to get at the top. And it really sums up, how we can work with you. So if you go back and look at our objectives, they really just is really a reinforcement of what the company's always been about, is when working together, we can be stronger. So with that, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for continuing to support us as a company, especially through this transition. Looking forward to you having a great week learning all about what is in store for you and all the updates on the products. And I truly look forward to meeting and seeing you guys in person next year. And you're going to learn about that as soon as I end this presentation. So have a great week getting caught up, and I look forward to sharing my adventures with you when I return from the river. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, and bye for now.
Thanks, Bill. And thanks to everyone for attending our virtual conference. My name is Rachel Gibson, and I am the Director of Sales and Marketing here at Synergex. As Bill just discussed, there have been quite a few changes here at Synergex this past year. One thing that's going to be a bit different going forward is our conferences. We are thrilled to be offering an in-person option again. While the content and presenters you know and love will remain the same, the logistics will be a little bit different. We will have the opportunity to participate in the Converge conference along with companies in our Constellation portfolio called FOG. This will be a shared event with our sibling technology companies. You'll have the opportunity to network with hundreds of new faces during shared meals, evening events, and keynote addresses. But don't worry, there will be a private breakout room for all of the Synergex specific sessions. FOG has already announced some major details about the event. It will take place in Denver from May 4th through 7th of next year, 2025. These conferences will take place every 2 years. For those of you that know you cannot attend a conference in person next year, whether it's due to budget or where you are physically located, we still plan on holding virtual conferences going forward. Our goal is to ensure as many people as possible can benefit from the information shared during our conferences. Tim Boggess and I had the opportunity to check out the Converge conference in Nashville this past year. You can see us here with our friend Elvis Presley on Honky Tonk Highway. FOG does a great job of ensuring attendees have plenty of opportunities for fun, so this important piece will remain consistent as we move to this new format. The second picture is of the main meeting room with all the attendees. As you can see, it's pretty packed. Circling back to this year's conference, you'll notice that the focus isn't terribly different than last year's. We want to help you all discover what's new and what's coming next with Synergex. We have Steve Ives providing an update on our roadmap for synergy development, as well as our Visual Studio integration and Harmony Core. We have several sessions that touch on legacy modernization, including our keynote. Tim Boggess' session on our own development modernization efforts will discuss ways we are eating our own dog food here at Synergex. And Marty Lewis will present on how to use our latest tools to take advantage of everything .NET has to offer. In addition, Dan Ellis will touch on some creative ways we've helped customers conduct load testing. And last but certainly not least, discover Jeff Green's latest and greatest project, the introduction of Apache Kafka to the ICM file storage. We are very lucky to have design expert Billy Hollis back to deliver our keynote. Billy is a fan favorite with the highest rated sessions in our past conferences, and today will be no different. Learn more about his take on UX design for legacy applications in just a few minutes. As excited as we are to host an in-person conference next year, you don't have to wait to learn more about what's new at Synergex. In 2023, we launched our brand new website, full of new content about how our products can enable you to bring your trusted applications into the future. We encourage you to check out our solutions pages in particular to learn more about what's possible. We've also increased our focus on telling compelling stories about our customers, to show, not tell, how they've tackled various modernization projects. Check out our case studies page to see them all. Our team puts incredible efforts into making sure our conferences provide as much value as possible. You can access past conference sessions on the Learning tab of our website. We also have an archive of past webinars. Keep an eye out for new webinars as they occur periodically throughout the year. We also launched our online course in 2023. DBL Essentials Online teaches the basics of the language through a mix of videos, recorded lectures, syntax cheat sheets, checkpoints, and hands-on exercises. We want every new DBL programmer to take advantage of this course. If you have someone in your company that could benefit, please reach out to your account manager. Last but not least, make sure you subscribe to our blog, where we announce new product releases and where you can find technical articles written by our development staff. If you'd like to see all of our relevant announcements in an easy-to-read digest format, I'd encourage you to subscribe to our e-news. If you need any information on accessing any of the resources I've mentioned, please reach out to your account manager. I want to tease a few new projects we are focusing on. Steve Ives will go into a bit more depth on some of these in his product update session tomorrow, so I'll just touch on them briefly here in the next few slides. After launching the online Language Essentials course last year, Jeff collaborated with marketing to identify areas for additional educational focus that would yield the greatest benefits. Jeff, being the greatest of all time, decided to write a DBL book in his spare time. Similar to the Language Essentials course, this book is tailored for individuals with coding experience in other programming languages who wish to delve into real-world DBL. While it assumes no specific prior knowledge of any programming language, its aim is to seamlessly transition your existing programming skills to the nuances of DBL. We've made significant progress on the draft and are more than willing to provide you with the link for your review. Simply reach out to your account manager for access. Be sure to attend Jeff Green's session on Thursday morning. We'll be discussing how to improve applications by integrating Apache Kafka with existing ICM file storage. This integration allows Kafka to efficiently capture and distribute data changes, leading to real-time data processing, stronger resiliency, and seamless integration with other applications. The recent enablement of .NET on Linux has introduced numerous opportunities, including this one. We're working on a static code vulnerability scanner for DBL, honing in on OAuth security risks. This kind of analysis helps spot bugs, boost code quality, and tighten security. Though not a must-have for stuff like SOC 2, it's getting more crucial for nailing security and compliance. We're even thinking of hooking up with SonarQube or GitHub code scanning to amp up our code quality checks. If that sounds like something you're interested in, we'd love to hear what you think. We're currently in pursuit of SOC 2 Type 2 certification, a demand voiced by many customers, including our ISVs and larger end users. This certification would allow our customers to prove to their own auditors that DBL is a secure link in their software supply chain. We hope to have the certification by the end of 2025. And with that, we hope you are thoroughly excited about this year's conference. Thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us.
How do we get a copy of Jeff's DBL book?
Well, I will consider this you asking your account manager since, well, I know Kim's watching. So I'm going to send it to you. I'll send you a link to it. It's a draft, so don't, if you find something in there that's a typo or something, just know it's a draft. And at some point, I do want to get it printed. And we actually have a customer that does printing. So we're gonna keep it in the family and get it printed there, I think. So when it's ready.
Got one here. What's been the best thing about joining Constellation?
I would say that we've been able to do a lot of networking. Suddenly our world got a lot bigger, and then there's 1,000+ companies. We don't meet the 1,000+ companies because it's kind of limited to our subgroup. There's many subgroups, as I think Bill kind of went over in his session. But just meeting people that have kind of the same job as me, but at other companies has been interesting because, it kind of felt like a smaller world, and now it's gotten a lot bigger. Also, the relationship that we have with the other Constellation customers that we have, those 8 companies that Bill discussed, suddenly it's like we're sister companies, so we have automatically more of a partnership, and the conversations get a little different and deeper. So that's been really exciting to see, just having more traction with those customers.
Why did Jeff write this book?
I kind of touched on it. It was after we finished the Language Essentials course, and we felt, well, he was kind of thinking, well, what's next? What's missing from the educational experience we can offer? And so that's kind of where he came up with it. It was also sort of inspired by a hackathon project we did last year that touched on just trying to figure out DBL and AI and how that could fit together. So we'll get more into that piece at the panel, but there's some AI involved with the book. So stay tuned for panel on Thursday to learn a little bit more about that.
How can my company participate in a case study?
Call me. So we want to do more. And one of the benefits of the case studies for the participants is that if you've done a cool project with DBL with our services team or not, it doesn't matter. It's a great way to get a narrative out there of a cool project that you've been able to do. So it makes your company look good. It makes you look good. So we want to do more. And again, it doesn't have to be because you did a services project with us. It can be you did something on your own that was really cool. So we'd love to hear from you, and would like to, get as many of these stories out there as possible.
All right. Where's the sign up for e-news?
I think we can post that after. I don't have the link off the top of my head, but so we will. Heather will send that to you, Jason, directly.